chapter for me. I'ma break out and free. Everything that I wanted to do it all to my best. All this life is all I have, and God is who I pray to. I hope that I can make it. I know that I will make it. I know that I will make
it. Welcome to our second recording. My name is Boitumelo Keoagile. I'm the host for Blossom with Boiti. And today we have a very special guest. She'll tell you who she is, and I'm excited to have her. I hope you are going to love her. And the topic for today is the hidden cost of mental health and the importance of support in friendships. Today, I'm going to introduce you to our first guest. Welcome, ma'am, and can you please tell us who you are?
Hi, friend.
Hi, Chomi.
My name is Phemelo Minja. I'm so happy to be here. Let's just start there. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a mother. Mm-hmm. I'm a wife. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's who I am basically. And I'm a friend.
Yeah.
I'm your best friend.
You are my best friend.
I am.
Who would not notice?
I am of 26 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is special.
No wonder. I can see that today we are wearing similar T-shirts. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us why? Is there a reason why we are twinning?
We are twinning because you got me this gift. Yeah. At the time, I don't know if you told me that you had the same. I can't remember, but I think when we spoke, then you later revealed that you have the same. So I think it's very special, especially for this purpose, what we're doing today. This verse talks about God, God, and it talks about being saved by grace. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think in essence, you and I have been saved by grace. That's why we're tuning today.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey? And having our relationship for over 26 years, it was just a bad God moment. And I would like just to reflect on saying our friendship hasn't been easy, just like any other relationship. Can we maybe reflect on the journey that we've been in for the last 26 years?
It's difficult to remember everything. I mean, we're taking Form 1.
Yeah.
Form 1 way back in 1999. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's been mostly joy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we grew up together. We're girls together. Mm-hmm. And we became young women together. We became mothers together. Yeah, so in any relationship, really, because relationships is about two people with two different characters, two different personalities. So I think from time to time, characters, personalities are bound to clash.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've had our clashing moments. Thank God that in all of them, I think I can remember two specific ones.
Yeah, would you like to get into that?
I should. Let me start with the first one.
She's spilling the beans.
Let me start with the first one, though painful.
Yeah.
The first one, I think, it was way back in 2012, 2013. Mm-hmm. That's about the time when I was getting married.
Yeah.
And you were part of the team.
Yeah.
Bridal entourage. Mm-hmm. And you've always been a particular person.
Yeah.
You've always wanted things the way you want them. Mm-hmm. And I think I've always been an accommodative person. Mm-hmm. But at that time, I feel like I tried to accommodate you until I couldn't. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, no, but who's getting married? Wait a minute, who's getting married? You know? So I had to make a difficult decision to say, I'm going to let you go for this time because it just didn't suit what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was mostly looking for support from you. And I felt like you should have supported me in any way that I needed the support at the time. But I feel like there were moments where you prioritized yourself over what we were doing at the time. And I said, okay, if this is the case, then I'm sorry. And you can't be part of the entourage.
Yeah.
That was okay. I don't know what else. I can't remember exactly what else happened.
I think, if you don't mind me interrupting,
all right.
I think there's a two side to this story, though. Like I've always told you, there were people that I engaged with when you were not there. I feel like there were some pieces where you didn't get to know some of the content or maybe the message that I had to say, which mostly when we went for material choosing or whatnot, or certain people will say things that maybe in a way that maybe appeared to you that maybe I'm being difficult or impossible, which I felt like it led to you making such a decision, which I was okay with it at that time. But since we spoke about it, I felt like we clarified and ironed things out. And I understand that I'm a very particular person in terms of how I look and how I show in public. So it's my image. And at that point, I was not as reflective or introspective as I am today. And I felt like I put myself first, and I was in a space where I felt like it's my money, it's how I look, and I should have a say on how I look. Maybe it come across as maybe I don't know. I don't know how it came across to you, but to me, that's the space that I was in at that time. But looking back where I am right now, and seeing how throughout our journey on how you've compromised for me, or maybe the values of a friend and what support looked like, I feel like by now I would make a different decision. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up that element of other people. There were other people, other friends who, when you get married, I feel like friends are supposed to forget about themselves.
Yeah.
If you are my friend, forget about yourself. Come serve me, because I need you at the time. I'm that friend.
Yeah.
I will go 100. It's either I go 0 or 100 for all my friends. And I've done that. I've been a matron of honor without the attire for a friend.
I know.
I've done the most for another friend to an extent where people mistakenly called me Mama Lomi.
What?
Because that's who I am. I will go in, So I appreciate that at that time there was a level of growth that needed to happen.
Yeah.
But I felt like I had accommodated you. I had wanted a particular color, and you said to me, I already have this, and I changed the color for you. Imagine. I changed the color.
Did you change the color for me? Okay.
I did.
That's nice.
I think I wanted a pink Letaisi, and you said, no, I had just used it somewhere else. Yeah. Then I changed to purple.
Yeah.
For you.
I remember it was I was recently a bridesmaid for my other friend, and I had bought a pink Letaisi for that. For, like I was saying on the budget issue, at times you'll feel like I just had this in my wardrobe, remembering that bridesmaid clothes, you
can wear anywhere all the time, yeah.
Maybe nani ki tsere from gore, okay, this is what it is, and I didn't apply myself extensively. What does it mean to you?
Yeah. So I changed the color for you, and then I think there was another issue. Then you couldn't do that, so I was like, "No, man! Like I changed the color for you, girl. What do you mean?
Really?
If there was something that upset me, and then I was like, if I change the color for you, and now there is an issue, I need to adjust this thing again for you. No, God, like." Enough.
I can't
remember. Then that's when the fallout came, and I said, no, I think we should just leave it. And then I tried to fix it before the wedding, you remember. But because of that miscommunication with the other person, I think there was a breakdown, and I ended up saying, actually, don't come to the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't come to the wedding. And you
didn't come. Why would you come?
I didn't see myself coming either because of the way we were fighting back and forth.
Yes.
It wouldn't have been productive, or
you wouldn't have enjoyed it anyway. Yeah. So I think that's one of the most painful thing that when I look back, a friend of mine from 13, 14 years is not in the pictures and we're friends. But I mean, that's our life journey. We can't change it, but we grew from it.
Do you think if maybe you had the chance right now to do it again, would you still make the same decisions or choices that you made back then according to how everything transpired?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Based on the fact that on my end, I thought I had made an adjustment for you. So I compromised. Remember, it's me getting married, but I compromised for a friend. And then came another thing that the friend wanted. I had to adjust myself for the friend. I can't remember that thing. Was it the shoes or was it something? So based on that, I couldn't have done it the second time for a friend. Yeah, removing the miscommunications and other people's bad agenda based on the fact that I felt like now I have to do this thing to accommodate you, but it's me who's getting married. Definitely, I would have done it again.
One thing that I love about you, or maybe I'm still learning, is how assertive you are always, how you are always assertive. And it took me a long time to it used to, I don't know if it was intimidating me or it scared me to a point where I couldn't express myself at times. I felt like you are too much for me.
You felt like I was bossy?
Yes, I felt like you are bossy. Because when I tried to, or maybe when I tried to speak, I felt unheard. Or maybe I felt I came from an unhealed place or point of view because I've been through a lot of things, which at times when I try to express myself and I feel like you are applying too much pressure, I just pull back. And I feel like, and I'm learning to be assertive, and I discovered that it's not such a bad thing. It actually helps you to build healthy relationships. And I'm proud that you have taught me to be assertive, and you have taught me to apply boundaries in my life. Speaking of boundaries, what do you think of boundaries in relationships, and how have you applied the boundaries in our relationships, and how has it sustained it so far?
I feel like boundaries are very important. Yeah. I mean, you would mention that I have always been assertive. I've always known what I want, what I don't want, but I've never done it arrogantly. I don't think I've ever done it arrogantly. Like, I'm also very considerate. I can accommodate others to a certain degree. So I think it's only in our grown lives that I'm realizing actually those were boundaries. Back then, we didn't have a name for it. So I would say maybe I've always been that person with a bit of boundaries. And I feel like boundaries are very important because boundaries are what guides a relationship or a friendship. If I know the things that make you unhappy, then I won't do those things. I will try. If you know the things that make me unhappy, then you'll try. Imagine how easy a friendship or a relationship can be if we are accommodative, if we are considerate of one another. So I think over time we've learned how to be considerate of one another. It's a special thing that we're both into self-development. So then it makes our relationship easy because we are on the same wavelength. Yeah, you understand what we're doing. I understand what you're doing. And we've come to learn to disagree in a civil manner, in a way that says, okay, if that's how you feel, that's not how I feel. So let's move. It's okay. There shouldn't always be, you are right, I'm wrong, you are wrong, I'm right. We have different opinions and it's okay. It's okay, but it doesn't mean that I don't like you or you don't like me. We just see things differently and then we make provision for that.
Agree to disagree.
And
honesty. And it takes us to honesty. What do you think honesty is? And can you explain or expand more on honesty in relationships? What is the importance of it?
I think honesty is just being true to yourself. Yeah, there's no point in living a life that's not yours. You know, we only have one life.
Thank you.
So what time are you gonna get to come and now live the way you were really meant to live. So I think honesty is just being yourself, being authentic, and just expressing yourself so that people can understand. Once people understand who you are, then they deal with you better. Yeah. So I think it's very, very important. I know in our Tswana culture, it's very hard to even start a conversation about something we don't agree on, or me telling you the truth about how I feel. It's not how we are raised in our society. It's always, you know, don't talk back, you know. So how are you going to talk back with someone when you've been conditioned all your life not to talk back? So I think as we're growing in friendship, in relationships, it's a thing we need to learn. Yeah. It's a vital value we need to learn.
Yeah. Do you think talking back, is there a way or maybe structure on how to talk back? Or maybe you just want to blurt it out there? Because I feel like at times, or maybe I can say, maybe talking back has to have a way on how we say it. Do you think how we say it also maybe impact the way things, or maybe the output of the message?
I think approach is very important. Yeah, because you could mean it from a very good place, only it comes out in a bad way. Then it's not going to be received the way you meant it. And therefore, whatever you were saying immediately gets shut down. So I think, like I was saying earlier about consideration, once you know the person, you need to be considerate. You need to think about ways to approach certain things. Hey, sometimes it's not even about let's just talk face to face. You can even try and write it down. And then you can even rehearse. You know, this is what I want to say to Bui. Yeah, I'm going to write it down. You read it out loud. You practice so that when you come to Bui, you can even put a disclaimer and say, you know, I'm coming here, but this is how I'm feeling, but I don't mean da-da-da-da-da. And you put a statement forward to prepare the way for your approach. Yeah.
And before we continue, when you keep talking, it reminds me that you are a life coach.
I am.
You are a life coach, and you didn't say it. The reason why I'm saying it is because sometimes when I have maybe some interviews or maybe something to say to someone and I'm not sure on how to say it, I normally contact you and you tell me, maybe try to rehearse, or you help me, you guide me on how to do it.
I am a life coach. Yeah. So I have a passion for children and raising children in a special way that grooms them to be who they are authentically, that grooms them to reach their maximum potential as human beings. Like I said, we're not going to do this again. We only have one take at life. So I believe if we start early with our children, then we are bound to set them up for life in a better way than we were set up. Yeah, so I've been your life coach. At some point, your mom, your friend, your sister,
all in one,
partner, I think also. So I've taken up all those roles for you.
And you've been so amazing. And to tell the truth, it drives us to the topic of support and authenticity in friendship. I've been depressed, or I've been diagnosed with depression, and you were the first person to even spot it, to recommend me to go to the psychiatrist. And would you tell me what were the signs that you saw and what made you think that I might be depressed?
I think at the time I had just had my last born. Let's call her last born because she is. So at the time, I think I had, what do they call it? Postpartum depression. Yeah. So I had been through that. And then when you had your depression phase, then I could see some of the signs that I had in you. So,
because you were very specific in terms of how you supported me. I asked myself during the phase where I was recovering, this person, it's like she knew exactly what I needed. And you were not judgmental. You were ordered by the doctor or by God. You were like, God presented something for me to work with. And I'm glad that you were there for me, because when I look back, people like saying, show me your friends and I'll show you how your life would look like. And I always, when I look back and when I want to appreciate you, regardless, or maybe like you said earlier, we've had our fights, but one of the things that I always cherish, I was always like, God, I know we are going through 1, 2, 3, but I don't think, honestly, I would have survived depression if you were not in my life, because you are such a strong person, and depression needs somebody who is very strong. It needs strong, authentic, genuine support. And you were that friend for me, Chomi. I don't know, like, you can laugh and
I'm not
you
laughing.
make
I'm
me
just
cry.
smiling in appreciation, because in the moment I didn't come there to be a hero.
Yeah.
I just saw something in you. Having known you for so many years, I could see that your light had dimmed down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know some people have said that I can never see anything wrong with you.
Yeah.
And other people have seen you in a different light.
Yeah.
But because we grew up together, I know the person that you are. I know your soul. I know your heart. So I could see that, no, like, she's sinking. She's sinking. The vibrant, the loud hyena laugh girl is just sinking. So, and also because I had been through it, I could pick it. So sometimes it takes somebody to have gone through something to be able to just say, no, something is wrong here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for that, Shomi, because should you have not picked it, I think maybe we could be saying a different story, because depression also needs medication. I went to a psychiatrist who prescribed medication for me. And then I started attending therapy. And I've been attending therapy for the last 3 years. And it was not only for depression, it's also for my life. And also the authentic support that I was talking about. You have given me feedback that I need most of the time, which most people don't or are afraid to give. You are that person who, when I'm looking for constructive and honest feedback, I would go to. And you've helped me to become the woman that I am today. You have molded me to be who I am today. You are my safe space. I don't want to lie. I know we've had our ups and downs, but they don't amount to, or they cannot amount to what we have. And you are my family. You have, even some of the relatives that I have, the space that you have in my heart. I remember when the last time when we had a fallout, like in 2022.
Talk about that.
You want me to talk about it?
I actually forgot it earlier.
We had our fallout, our second painful fallout in 2020.
When we were grown-ups.
Yes, when we were grown-ups. I think that was the biggest challenge of our relationship, or the test of our relationship, because gape ne le nako e ne le gore ke tsena mo modimong. When you are in God, there's a season where God removes certain people from your life. And it was a very confusing stage for me, because I was now a Christian who I haven't been a Christian all my life, like a full-time committed Christian. So I questioned a lot of things. Some of them, I had you had me, we had each other. And I made decisions I really hate you. But what I love, we found strength into coming back to each other and realizing our relationship is bigger than our egos, or maybe what we have fight about. And I would like to applaud you, or maybe say, it's not everybody possibly you felt like you didn't do anything wrong, but you still came to me and say, hey, can you fix that? And when I was working on myself, because it gave me time to work on myself, because most of the time I've never really had support. And I think I used you, or maybe I relied on you mostly too much. There was a dependency sort of, which I couldn't make maybe some decisions alone. I always referred to you. When I get maybe a job promotion or salary increase, I call you. Everything. When a guy hits on me, I call her.
When you have a crush on a guy. Everything.
When I have a crush on a guy, I call her. So she was like my to-go-to person. And to some certain extent, I only realized that I could have overwhelmed you when that separation space. And I'm glad it happened, because it allowed us to reevaluate or introspect who are we to each other. It was a test for our relationship. And I'm glad that we found our way back to each other. And the strength that you have, it has increased. And Lena, my attributes or positive attributes has developed from here. And one thing that sending some bonsa gore tota, you are my person. Can I heartbreak kana? When I remember calling my therapist, my head was aching. Like I just lost a boyfriend. It was that real. And I asked myself, because at that time I was clouded by my emotions and I don't need you. But my heart was telling me, and my head was telling me something else, but my heart was telling me something else. And that's when I realized, this is an important person in my life. And
I think for me, the thing that hurt me most about that time was I felt like you didn't come through for me. I think the thing that hurt me was that I expected you to be the friend I am.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that during that short break. I don't know how long we took without speaking to each other.
Over a year, I think. Close to.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was that long.
It was that long.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the thing that broke me most was that I felt like you didn't put me first, knowing the type of friend I am. Like, you don't need to be there. If I know you, I will do in your absence. I will represent you in your absence. And I felt like you allowed certain people to question whether I'm a true friend
to me.
Yes, and you didn't defend me. So I was touched by that. And then I was touched also by the fact that maybe you felt like I wasn't that much, the space that I held.
I devalued you.
I think so. I think so. And then it gave me time. The time apart, I reflected and I realized that actually I've been everything to Bui.
You were.
And if I'm being honest, now that she's gone, I'm breathing. Yeah. I didn't know that it overwhelmed me. Yeah, because as a saving friend, you go all out to do everything for your friends. But it also taught me a lesson to say, no, man, there are things that you can do. There are things that she should be able to do on her own. So it gave me that perspective. And I think now moving forward, that's how we're moving. Hey, you can't come to me with everything. If you know me, you know I can advise, but I also want you to think about what you want to do. If there's anything I dislike is taking a decision for someone. It's tiring. But at that time, because you had a business, were involved in that, I was right there as a partner, and I felt not appreciated to the extent that I had put you in the light that I served you. So I think, if I'm being honest, maybe I was people-pleasing through that. Yeah, I did a people-pleasing thing that I wasn't even aware of, that I would do anything for you. Yeah, so that time gave me a good time to reflect on the type of friend I want to be going forward. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think people pleasing is, and what can you say to help people who are people pleasers?
I think whenever you put other people's needs before yours, red flag. Yeah, you're people pleasing.
Okay.
So, and it will depend on context. Of course, sometimes you have to. But whenever you feel like all the time you have to put other people in order to maybe be in good standing with those people, then it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You need to ask yourself, what is it that you want out of life? What is it that you want out of a friendship? What are you gaining from that friendship? What are you inputting in that friendship? So then once you know those things, you can know how far you can go and you can know when to step back. Yeah. Your people will always be your people. You don't need to overdo it. If you align with someone, they'll always be there. Yeah.
I would like to say, since you just told me, and you've told me before how you felt about our fallouts and how you felt, and I would like to say, I'm sorry that I wasn't the person that you needed at that time. And in our new era, or in our new journey, I've promised that I'll do better. And since we are both in personal development journey, we both do better for each other. And like you are saying, when I go back to where I was always coming back to you, I think it was mostly because I've always been challenged in my life, and you know that. And I always needed somebody to cry on, and you have always been that person. And I missed the point, or maybe it made me miss that I'm overwhelming you. So now I felt like you are more like a therapist to me, an informal therapist. And that is why most of the time when you look at it, I liked appreciating you a lot in terms of maybe gifting or whatever. It was my way of trying to extend myself and say, I know the value or maybe what you are doing in my life. And you have really saved me. I always wonder gore ha ne se ka support le lorato lo le mphileng le go bona lesedi, because you've always spoken about the light that I have when I didn't know what you meant. And at first I didn't know all this light thing, what it means, until I started embarking on the journey Christianity. So thank you, Chomi, for discovering the light that I have, or the anointing that I have. Before myself, Lena, I didn't know who I was, but you knew me before I knew who I was. For that, you'll always have a special place in my heart.
I don't even know how that happened. I can't sit here and say, oh, I've always, like, I don't know how I saw that in you. But I've always known that you are destined for great things. And it's evident. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't know you.
Yeah.
But I see it as somebody who's always been there for you. I see it, and I'm happy. I'm very happy for you. And I also want to apologize, because sometimes when we want our friends to be exactly who we are to them, then it's a lot of pressure on them. Yeah, so I think it's an issue of boundaries. And we always do this, like we tell each other, yeah, if you do this, when you do this, that kind of thing. So then you always know what to expect. And you have always done good things for me. Yeah, it's not like it's one-sided. No, even through your challenges, you've always been a good friend to me. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chomi. And thank you for appreciating me, and for being my support system. And I want to thank God for bringing you into my life many times. Like, we've separated twice, but we found our way to each other. I believe it was because you come from a Christian family. Ke dumela gore the values that you have ke tsone tse di go dirileng gore o gakologelwe gore ga go phuagangwe hell. One thing that I love about you ke gore throughout the business that you were talking about, we've learned gore our culture ke culture eleng gore we like When I get upset or when I don't get things done my way, I enough folk and take it or leave it. And kana gongwe go na le unmet expectations. We don't know how to manage that. We tend to treat it as conflict or as if we are enemies. And I love the fact that you have always thrived to show me gore we can differentiate, but it doesn't mean that we are enemies. I think from my point, it comes from the point that I come from a very dysfunctional, broken family. There was a lot of chaos, and in me seeing that growing up, ke unconsciously learned kore e kare ke a phuaganya mme ke ne ke tla ke leka but ha ke feela gore I'm putting a lot ha go nkimela ke latlhela ruri. But I'm just glad that I'm in this new journey gore it has also shown me gore I'm a resilient person and I persevere a lot, and I can critically think and problem solving. I know how to apply myself, and it has also taught me to be self-aware, and I've discovered myself, what I like, what I don't like, how to communicate effectively.
And you are very intelligent.
Thank you, Chomi. Which is a scary thing because men don't like intelligent women. They get intimidated by her.
Sorry, man. She's very, very intelligent.
Thank you, Chomi, for saying that, because at times you'll be in places where you can feel like you are undervalued, or maybe you kgona go check yourself with, or kana go question gore am I not intelligent enough? Kana o ikala ka sekale sa gore but I've been here for long and there's nothing, no progress. Ke tsa gore intelligence ya motho go gongwe e tshwanetse gore e bonagale ka progression. So I think stagnation go gongwe e kgona gore go dire gore o ipotse gore am I really intelligent, and you can lose yourself along that journey. O itlhala ile gore kgantele o question your self-worth, your value, your identity. So I'm really glad that I am still developing myself. It helps me to remember or still hold on to that little confidence. I'm fighting to hold on to my confidence regardless of what I go through in life, because I feel like confidence is the best thing saying when you have it, nothing can really, you can be shaken, but
you've always been confident. Kana, when we grow up, we now start to have the vocabulary for it.
Yeah.
You've always been confident. I think at some point, a lot of people maybe perceived it as arrogance, but it's just because they didn't know you well, or it's also because you had been through a lot. So your self-defense mechanism always ran forward to protect you.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful to see now that this confidence now comes with wisdom.
Thank you.
So it's even more attractive if it comes with wisdom, because now people will actually really get it. Hey, never lose it. Because you were born with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chumi. I think that's my superpower, and I don't wanna lie. I'm not always confident all the time. If you could notice, I'm also a fashion person. My fashion sense or how I dress also helps me to push that confidence. When I'm in a bad space, when I look good, it boosts my confidence. So if you are suffering from confidence, or you are still struggling to find your confidence, you can use how you look. I'm not saying your looks really matter, because some people don't believe in looks, but I believe that how you package yourself can make you look attractive. And in the days that we live in these days, in the days of personal branding, personal development, how you look really matters. Don't let them fool you. It really matters. When you are going to the interview, when you are single and looking for a man, you need to look confident. You have to dress the part and look confident, and so I'm glad, but this confidence thing, is also inspired by the people around me. It wasn't really a one person's job. And you are one of those people who has fueled and spoken life into me and molded me to be this person that I am. I would like us to talk back on the topic of depression or mental health. You've experienced me in my lowest moment, and I was talking earlier about how specific you were to in terms of supporting me. I always feel like the reason why we lose so many lives is because we are not as supportive, empathetic, and compassionate. And what do you think our community or maybe organizations or maybe society or maybe our families can do in order to save lives? Because depression is it's more like you are a baby, you've forgotten who you are. So people around you are the ones who are responsible to help you snap out of it. What can you say to people who don't understand what depression is, to make them understand what it is and to help our community to save lives?
I think when somebody's depressed, obviously they are not themselves. Things that they liked, they dim down on everything. They can become quieter. Sometimes they can remain and be as loud, but you need to know. I think we need to try and stop being passive. We need to know each other. As family members, we need to know, okay, so-and-so is like this, so-and-so is like this. But when we begin to see certain changes, we need to pay close attention. Yeah. If I know you, I would notice. It might not be a lot, but I'll notice a few things that, no, man, it's either this person is super loud nowadays, or this person is a bit quiet nowadays. What's going on? Once we start to pay attention, once we start to get closer, you'll find we're families, but we're not really close. You have sisters, you have brothers, you have cousins, but we are not close. Find somebody who you're close to, that they can know you better than you know yourself. Then they're able to pick that. Once you pick that, then you can bring that person to a safe space where they are now comfortable to share a few things. Or you can say, I've noticed 1, 2, 3. Is everything okay? Yeah. So for me, I would say, let's get interested in each other. Yeah, as human beings.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing to say, Chomi. And I remember that you told me that you found a new job, right? And you are a supervisor. You are responsible for a team. As a supervisor, when we now expand ourselves to the workplace, what can you say to people who are leaders in terms of support in the workspace in terms of mental health, these tools and strategies? What can you say we can do better in terms of offering support to our people or people that we are responsible for?
At the moment, that supervisory role is not as, hands-on. But let me speak about my past situations where I was under control for a team, responsible for people. There was a time where we would do studies around the country. You'd have a team, you would drive this team, you would supervise this team, you will be responsible for their accommodation and everything. So you need to create a space where you can be friendly with your team, but still set boundaries in order for your team to respect you. You can joke around. If you set boundaries, we know how far we can go with you, because we know that, no, this person, you can't go that far. But also you create a space for us to be ourselves. Patience is one of the most important values as a supervisor. Be interested. Like I said, be interested, because that is your family at work. You can imagine how many hours we spend at work. Yeah. So basically, those people are supposed to know us more than
our family
exactly,
at home. Yeah.
Exactly. So once you create that love, that support, that freedom, and when you have a leader who is open and open-minded, they actually don't need to say much, because you who is under, you're working to impress them. Yeah, you don't ever want to be in their bad books.
Yeah.
Because you know they've allowed you to have freedom, but they also want the job to get done.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to stop being hard, first of all, on ourselves. I know that it might also be pressure from the supervisors, also feel pressure. Yeah, so you have to
deliver.
And they feel like they need to push everyone to be able to deliver. But you need to create a safe space for your team to be able to say how they feel, for you to also, that's one thing my boss does. We have, I think, monthly check-ins. So the whole team will come around. We do our emotions. How are you feeling at the time? You are free to share if you want to share, if you don't. But at least people would have picked, okay, no wonder this person has been behaving this way. It means they've been not feeling so good. So that helps also to create room for check-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good mechanism, looking at the fact that we live in the mental health phase where everybody's struggling.
And the boss also checks in during those meetings. So you can also have grace for the boss to say, oh, okay, actually it looks like you're holding it down, but no, you're going through a lot. Yeah, then you offer support in return.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I've come to realize is we as subordinates, we tend to downplay how our superiors can also be under pressure. We also have to hold grace for them and see at times or understand them and try to support them from the point that we know them.
It's not always about us.
Yeah, it's not always about the juniors. So we need to apply ourselves in both ways. And
balance,
alignment. Yeah. So I would like to say, if you were the president for one day, we are about to wrap up this conversation because time is running out. If you were the president for one day, what do you think you can do in terms of support to our community to help people living with or maybe who are diagnosed with mental health? What can we change and what strategies would we put in place?
I think, that's a lot for one day. But I think sometimes we actually need to get feedback from people who've been through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually I feel like you're saying, if I was a president, so what you're saying is I'll be coming from up, going down. Sometimes we need bottom up strategies. If I've been through it, then I'm best placed to say what kind of support I needed at the time. But I will always run to where it all starts. It's still amazing how we don't have these programs at grassroots level, primary schools. Yeah. So we I don't want to say destroy, but yeah, we don't build until now we have to fix, when it's already late. I think if we started from primary schools and we had life coaches at primary schools to teach children to know themselves, to know their strengths, their weaknesses, who they are, who they want to be, how they can become that, then we already are solving a problem for the next generation. I think that's what I'll do on that one day. Talk about, let's start it from the beginning and how we're going to do it. Yeah.
No, that's a great answer. And I would like to say also, one of the gaps that are found in our communities that we don't focus more on improving our soft skills or investing in our soft skills. But the soft skills are one of the things that helps us to navigate life better. So I would like to say thank you for coming to this interview. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope to maybe have you one of these days in the next coming seasons. And I wish you well. I wish you health, good health. I wish you prosperity, and I can't wait for our relationship to flourish even to greater heights. Thank you for coming, Phemelo, and it's been a blessing.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to blossom with Boy. All the best with this. I know it's not easy. It hasn't been easy, but I can assure you that you are doing what God has called you for. You are walking in your purpose. May nothing ever dim your light. May you strongly hold to God and His promises for your life.
Thank you.
And may you continue to build and leave a legacy for others who are to come. You are going to inspire a lot of lives.
Thank you, Shoni.
Yeah.
I'm having goosebumps. I'm serious. Thank you, viewers at home. I would like to appreciate you for taking time to watch this video. I would like to say, can you please comment, engage, share, and we can't wait to engage with you. And subscribe as well. I'm like a teenager or like my daughter. I'm saying subscribe instead of subscribe. Thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.